Hello and welcome back to another video on the Ollie Hot on Beats channel, a place where I try to help all you producers and musicians start to earn a living from making music and generally make better music, which is the topic of the video today. We're talking about how to make better music, which I know is a very general title, but we're going to deep dive into 5 different ways you can make better music. The first one is to actually just listen to more music. I recommend listening to music in your genre, but also listen to a lot of music outside of it as well. That way you can get a better sense of the sounds inside the genre you're making, but also take things from outside, allowing you to be more creative and unique when incorporating the sounds that you've heard into your beats. And this works consciously and subconsciously, so it's worth knowing that the type of music you listen to is really likely to seep into your production, whether you realize it or not. So that's why I think it's good to listen to a range of music, because then you're feeding yourself a range of sounds and you're influenced by more than just one genre. I think also in the topic of listening to more music, I'd recommend listening to beats. Go to the chart topping section of whatever platform your beats are on, or maybe just even YouTube, listen to really popular beats, and just listen to a load of them. You don't even have to copy the style or genre, you can stick to your own, but it's more about listening to the mixes that are there, the amount of production that goes into it, or probably more importantly, the amount of production which isn't in it, and how simple the popular beats are. So I'd really recommend studying the top beats and trying to implement things which you notice in them into your own music. The second way to get better at making music is to force yourself not to use loops. Now I can see the comments now with the whole debate of whether loops is cheating or not. It isn't, by the way. So let's get it straight. I'm not saying do not use loops generally. I'm a massive advocate for using loops. But I think for the context of this video and trying to stretch yourself as a producer, it's a really good practice to make beats from scratch and start making your own melodies. And I know how tough at the start it can feel and it can be to make melodies and make loops, but trust me when I say it's so worth it. The hardest part is just starting, and you'll become so much better really quickly. It really is just about starting. Making loops and beats from scratch will help you be more creative and learn generally how to make good melodies. And once you get to a point where you're comfortable with making melodies from scratch, you'll be in a much better place and you're not as boxed in. The third way to make better music is to learn instruments. But again, it's definitely not necessary whatsoever to learn instruments. I'm certainly myself not the best player of the guitar or keys, but learning how to play instruments better, or even just picking up and trying to start, opens up a whole new way to make music. It really is down to personal preference of how you want to make your music. But again, if you're looking for new ways and ways to get better, learning an instrument, or at least starting to pick it up and try to play something, is a great way to extend your reach on music production techniques. It will also give your music a much more realistic sound, which of course isn't necessary for lots of genres, but the point is that it can really add another dimension to a music and give it a lot more feel and realism. I think personally for me, it just also makes the process so much more enjoyable, because there's something about playing real instruments which just gives it so much more meaning. Again, that's personal preference. If you're completely happy with just clicking things in and doing that, that's completely fine. But for me, playing real instruments just gives it so much more meaning, and like I care about the music a lot more. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah. Number 4 is trying to make music in a new genre. Now when I say new genre, I mean new to you. Again, this is about trying something new and trying to test yourself and extend your skills. The whole point of this is that when we stretch ourselves and test our skills, we can come back into our comfort zone a lot stronger. Now this can be as small as making an NF orchestral type beat when you normally make Future or Travis Scott trap beats, meaning it's not necessarily that you have to start making music totally foreign to you. It can be in a similar style, but even just doing that example there is making something new and allows you to incorporate those different styles together. So it's not even that you have to start making ballads when you make dubstep. It's just about making something new to you and then going back to the style that you normally make and incorporating those sounds that you used in making other type beats, which I know will add a lot more originality and uniqueness to your beats. Mixing styles and genres is some of how the best music in history is being created, and even genres themselves, from fusing sounds together. So I really recommend trying to do that. The 5th and final way to try and make better music is to ask people for feedback. Now this is harder for some people than others, but I know it's really easy to feel a bit awkward about it, but that is just how it is. You've got to be vulnerable enough to look for ways to get better. And I hate to say it, but just swallow your pride a bit and let people tell you what you need to improve on, which is often actually the hard bit, is knowing what you actually have to improve on. So getting feedback is good in that way, because you just know what steps you need to take to get better. So I'd pick someone you trust to get feedback from, and that can be someone professionally, or it can literally just be your mates. I would say that if you're asking someone for specific production feedback, it's good to go to someone who also produces or is an artist themselves. But try to find someone who knows what they're talking about, or at least you like their music, because there's nothing worse than getting feedback from some dodgy account with some weird name who doesn't really know what they're talking about and what they're doing. Generally, producers and artists are really open to giving feedback. I think Discord's a really good place to go. Get into producer channels and ask for some feedback on your music. I also recommend, before asking for feedback in those channels, giving feedback to someone else. That more we can kind of help each other out. But as I say, just take what some people say with a pinch of salt. Not all feedback you're gonna get is feedback that you should be getting, but if you pick the right person, you're going to be given really good and efficient ways to get better and improve your music. So there we go, that's 5 ways to get better at making music. I hope these helped. Just to say quickly, I've released a free new ukulele loop kit called Bliss, which is out now, completely free. 14 free ukulele samples for you to use. Please give it a download. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.